Hey guys, CP Tech Reviews right here. Bringing you a video of the Alcatel One Touch Fierce. This is going to be a tips and tricks about the phone. I already have it for about 2 months. You can say almost three. Um, so yeah, I'm just going to show you some of the tips and tricks regarding the camera and some storage and battery life. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to start off is storage. As you guys may know, or may not know, the phone comes only with about 2 gigs available, but it really comes down only to about a gig. So you have a gig available to download apps and storage like data. So let's check it out right here in the file manager. As you can see, phone storage total space is 2.6 and available right now is 1.4. Um, and if you don't have an SD card and you just keep downloading apps, that's gonna get filled up pretty quick because it also needs data. It collects the data like like your passwords and stuff like that. And Facebook is a big hog, and also like internet radios like Spotify and stuff like that. Those are big hogs in data. So let's get started. The first thing you want to do, I suggest you get a SD card, either a 8. I would suggest a 16 gigs. They're not that expensive. They're only $10. But I do suggest when you buy an Android phone to get an SD card if your phone doesn't come with one. So let's get started. The first thing you want to do is head over to your settings and go to your storage. Now, once let's say you just put a brand new SD card, the first thing you should do is format the SD card. This is gonna format it to your phone's specific, not specifically to your phone, but like your phone, your phone's gonna format it so it will work better. So once you have that done, you should have the same amount of space available, 14.91 gigs. Um, and then what next thing you should do is click default write disk. Now what this does is if you have it in phone storage, every app you download will get stored first to your phone storage, and then you would have to I guess you would have to download it back. You will have to switch it to your SD card. So what this does is the apps that are available to move to your SD card will get saved to your SD card, and also its data and stuff like that, and also other apps data will get stored on your SD card if it's available. So that's one thing you should do. And as you can see, pictures and apps and data. Look how much data I have there. I have about 2 point, like you could say 3 gigs. You could round that off to 3 gigs. So yeah, so that helps out a lot. Um, and I know there was a comment about like their phone storage gets down quick. I barely cleaned it yesterday. Since I got the phone and the SD card back in November 30th, which was you could say the 1st of December. So that's a pretty long time, and I only had about 100 megabytes of data on the phone storage, and the rest was on the SD card. So a perfect example of the what I mean about the SD card. Um, let's go back into settings and you click applications, and then if you have an internet radio, you'll be seeing it. So as you may know, Spotify is an internet radio like Slacker and Pandora, etc. And the application when you download it from the App Store is 15 megabytes. And look at the data that I have on the SD card, 805 megabytes. So if I would have this stored, if I wouldn't have any SD card, that would have been on my phone storage, which is about a gig. So the phone will be pretty much at capacity, and I wouldn't be able to download any more apps. So that's one. This is I think this is like the most important for you to like to download apps and stuff like that. You should SD card and have it under the SD default write disk, the SD card. As you can see right there, that one's a perfect example. And what I mean by SD card, once you download it, I downloaded A1 SD Bench earlier. If you guys don't know what that app is, it just tests the speed of your SD card. Like the writing and the reading. So this one I downloaded it and it automatically went into my SD card. So as you can see, it is in my SD card. Now I'll say I'll move to a phone storage, but I mean I don't want to do that. And also the data, as you can see, the data is also on the SD card. And I think on my SD card, yeah, like on my SD card, I'm using about 6 gigs. So yeah, this is I guess the number one tip right here, because this is regarding how many apps you have, and I have a lot of apps. As you can see, I have a 5x5 grid on the on the drawer, so it's 25 per page. So let's see, that's one, that's two, that's three. So I have about 75, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have about 87 apps on my phone. So yeah, I have a lot of apps downloaded. Alright, so this is the first app, guys. I mean, the first app. Alright, so this is tip number 2, and this is regarding your RAM, the amount of RAM you have available. So so let's say you start opening apps and stuff. You know, we're right here in the camera, and then we go over here to Gmail. You know, you just start opening all kind of stuff. She's Gmail, and then we go to Twitter, and then we go to let's open up Google Plus. Google Plus is not opening, but it's all right. Oh yeah, I did open at last, as you can see. So once you click your multitasking button, as you can see, you have all of them right there. So I mean, I know a lot of people. I know some of my friends that don't clean that up. Like they just keep using the phone like normal. I mean, that's fine, but let's go back on there and check your RAM. You have, let's see if the camera could focus. Right now, hopefully you can see that, but my phone has 221 megabytes available for RAM. So just by simply, let's go back to the multitasking button, and just by closing, no, just by closing all the apps. Now let's go check how much I have now. 292. As you can see, these are some apps that are running on the background. So that's why I kind of have a little bit of RAM. So I have about 300 megabytes of RAM. So as you can see, just by closing your multitasking button on the apps that you have available right here, you free up your RAM. And you know, like say you're using a Facebook and you have like other apps that you haven't used during the day on your multitasking, you should just close those and leave. Like for example, if you're using Facebook, just leave Facebook there. You know, and you'll free up your RAM, and this will also speed up your phone. And like let's say you pop a game or something, you know, it will work better. Having speech trouble over here. So it will work better. Um, and also let's say you go to sleep and you know you're not charging your phone. I think what I seen that works for me is every time I go to sleep, I usually turn off my Wi-Fi and my data, so I just have phone calls and messaging. And then usually what I do right before I go to sleep, I just click kill selected apps, and as you can see, look how much app RAM is available now, 415. So I'll usually do that and go to sleep, and I'll wake up and I'll probably have around 300. You know, have my battery life will probably go down like 2%. And this is helpful. I only do it when I'm not gonna use my phone for long periods of time, because if you keep using that's a multi advanced task killer, but say you use it like every 5 minutes, you're just wasting your battery, because you're gonna close every app you're using, and then you're gonna open Facebook, and then Facebook, as you can see, since I killed it, it's gonna take longer to open. And if I go do it again, kill selected apps, and I try to go open Facebook again, I mean it's there, but because it's in the multitasking. But if you keep doing that, it's just gonna take your phone longer to get every app. So I suggest you just do this like when you're not gonna use it for long periods of time, so you won't have any background apps. You know. So that's tip number 2. And on advanced test killer, you can actually put a time, like so you could do it while your phone, or your screen phone is off, like your screen is off. But I don't recommend it because then it's gonna wake up your phone and it's gonna kill all the apps and all that stuff. So you should just do it like when you're not gonna use it for long periods of time. I usually do it like when I go to school. Well, I just graduated in January, but when I used to go, I'll walk in, click the task killer, and probably about 3 hours later, I'll start using the phone again. So that's what I recommend. I mean, you don't have to do it. I'm just saying. So that's tip number